Alright, this video I want to share my thoughts on Floyd Mayweather Jr. Um, first off, I'm not a boxer. I've never been. Um, I'm not really that into the boxing. I don't watch it. I don't watch anything really on TV. I don't really watch much combat sport. But I do study the martial arts. I studied Bruce Lee a lot. Um, Watching all Bruce Lee's movies, watching Jet Li's movies, and seeing some of Tony Jaa's movies, and I really admire Bruce Lee. I read his books, and I really studied his way, his method, and then he led me to Eastern philosophy, and then from there, I've just been really mainly studying Eastern philosophy. Um, but as far as boxing is concerned. I admired Muhammad Ali, and his level of skill when he was boxing. And other than Muhammad Ali, I saw Mike Tyson. I admired Mike Tyson as far as, when he was working with Cus D'Amato. I felt that Cus D'Amato was doing a really good job in directing his energies the proper way. But then when Cus D'Amato died, Mike Tyson was never the same. Spiritually, he wasn't there, and his skill level wasn't there anymore when Cus D'Amato was dead. But as far as Mayweather's concerned, what I do know about him, I'm just gonna share my reflections. Which I don't really know too much about him. All I could say is I watched some of his highlight reels, and I know that he's undefeated. I know that he's like 49-0, and I know that he's older now, in his late 30s. And he's been pretty much boxing his whole life. He was raised to box from his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr. Raised him, from his, since he was born to box. And I know that he's very talented, based on the highlight reels that I've seen. I just saw a few of his fights, and based on that information is going to be my feedback. I know that he's like pretty much the richest athlete in the world. I know that he manages himself. There's nobody really, over him, like, how, what's his name? Don King was over Mike Tyson, and, he didn't have anybody like that. It's all him. So he's managing himself, and he's the richest athlete in the world, and that he had a fight with Pacquiao not too long ago where it grossed like the most amount of money in sports history. I know that, So based on that information, and what else? His personal life, I don't know too much about it, but what I notice, which is awkward to me, is that a lot of people don't like him, and I don't know why. But some people be like, well, he's not a good person, he's arrogant, he beats on his wife or beats on women, he's been in jail. I mean, I've heard stuff like this, but to me it's like, he's a boxer, okay? He's not a sage, all right? So I'm not assessing him on his wisdom. I'm not assessing him on his way of life, okay? He's a boxer. He's not trying to be Jesus. He's not trying to be Buddha. He's a boxer. So he should be judged and evaluated based on that. Not whether or not he went to jail or his criminal record or whatever the case may be. If people want to have good role models for their lives, they shouldn't be looking at boxers. They should be looking at people like Buddha, people like Jesus, people that are wise, like Lao Tzu or Osho. Like, those are sages. So they have wisdom. They're going to show you the way of life, the true way of life. But a boxer is not the person to look up to for him to show you, okay, this is the way of life. This is how you're going to find ultimate happiness. This is how you're going to find inner peace. No. So I don't understand why people are judging him based on his outside life. His outside life has nothing to do with his skill in the ring. So I want to take that criticism out of it. People criticize him saying, oh, he's been to jail. Well, Muhammad Ali's been to jail, but Muhammad Ali was in jail because he was opposing the war. Martin Luther King Jr. was in jail because he was protesting. Malcolm X was in jail before he became Malcolm X because he was a criminal. But then he gained enlightenment when he was in prison. Mike Tyson's been in jail, but for real jail. Like, he's been in jail, like, for some serious offenses, And Mike Tyson, is as far as his personal life is concerned, is a lot worse of a role model than Mayweather, in my opinion, from what I know about Mayweather. But yet people don't really talk too much about Mike Tyson's personal life, but then they keep poking at Mayweather's personal life. So it doesn't make sense to me. Tupac was put in jail, which is pretty much, in my opinion, wrongfully. You notice they even tried to get Kobe Bryant. They tried to put Kobe Bryant in jail. What I noticed, they even tried to put Michael Jackson in jail. What I noticed, all successful minorities out there, the people in power want to put them in jail. So, the assessment of whether or not somebody's been in jail is not really relevant. As I stated, he's not trying to be Jesus. He's not trying to be Buddha. He's trying to be the best boxer in the world. So whether or not he's been in jail has nothing to do with it either. I don't care how he treats his wife, how he treats his friends. This is not about that. People go to church for that. Okay, so another thing is, he beats down people in a boxing ring for a living. That's what he's trained to do. So it's not a surprise if he ended up beating his wife or his girlfriend. That's what he does for a living. Beats people up. So what do you expect? How do you expect him to handle confrontation, no matter be it with a woman or a man or an officer or whoever? They're gonna do what they know, which is fight back physically. So people that are criticizing him for beating down whoever, even if it is a woman, why are you praising him? Why are you even watching boxing to begin with? If you don't feel comfortable with somebody beating down a woman, then why you feel comfortable with somebody beating down another man? You shouldn't feel comfortable with either one. So these people that are like praising these boxers for beating people up, but then they condemn them for beating women, well, why are you praising them for beating people up? It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. A human being should not beat somebody down or take advantage of his powers. Man or woman, gay or straight. So if you got a boxer who's beating down a weak man, that's not right. A boxer that's beating down a weak woman, that's not right. It doesn't matter. So these people that are criticizing him for beating down women, then they need to criticize themselves on why it's okay for him to beat down men then. Okay, so all that is irrelevant. Whether or not he's been in jail, whether or not he beats down his wife, I don't care about that. I'm not looking at him for that type of guidance. Alright? So with all that aside, as far as his personal life is concerned, with all that aside, other people, okay, what else do they complain about him? They say, oh, he's arrogant. Well, Bruce Lee was known to be arrogant too. Everybody said Bruce Lee was arrogant. If you read Bruce Lee's books, his friends, his colleagues, fellow actors, they all said he was arrogant. They said, hey, Bruce Lee was an arrogant person. But the thing about Bruce was he backed up that arrogance because he could really do what he, said he could do. And it's like America values arrogance. America teaches you to be arrogant. That's what America's all about. Arrogance. Overconfidence. So, if you're criticizing Mayweather by saying that he's arrogant, you shouldn't be upset at him. You should be upset at this culture and how we teach people to be. Arrogance is the American way, basically. Humbleness, that's the way of the East. That's the way of China. They do something significant, they don't make a big deal about it. But America, they do something very little, and all of a sudden, it's got to be in the front page. It's got to be all over the news. That's how America is. And his arrogance is probably just confidence in himself. And he should be confident. He's proved to the world over and over again that nobody could beat him. So, if he is arrogant, his performance is backing up this arrogance. So based on what I've seen so far from the people, some of the people I've encountered that criticize him, those are some of the things that they've been saying. And it's just like, to me, it's irrelevant. Whether or not he's arrogant, whether or not he's beats on his wife, whether or not he's been in jail, I don't care about none of that. This is a sport. So you're assessing him based on his performance on that sport. So, imagine you got Michael Jordan playing on the courts, and he just hit the game-winning shot. But then they're like, well, the guy defending him, the guy defending him doesn't gamble, but Michael Jordan gambles. So maybe we shouldn't give the championship to Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan gambles, and the guy that tried to defend him doesn't gamble. So let's give the championship to the defender because he doesn't gamble. I mean, it has nothing to do with their performance on the court. Whether or not somebody, has been to jail before, uses guns, is, domestically violent, or whatever the case may be. Fact of the matter is, they found a way to get into that professional industry, and now it's based on the performance within that industry. Now, if the industry wants to ban them from participating, then that's one thing. But as long as they're expressing their talents within that industry, then that's what I'm going to assess them by. Like Muhammad Ali, he's like undefeated. But then they wanted him to go to war. He's like, no, I'm not going to war. So then they basically stripped him of his title, put him in jail because he opposed the war. And then, like, when he's in jail, he can't box. So then, you can't assess his development, his ability to box at that moment because he's in jail. But as soon as they let him out of jail and then the boxing commission says, you know what, you could get back in here, we'll allow you to box again, then it's based on assessing his ability to box. It has nothing to do with his outside life. So I want to take all of that out of my assessment with Mayweather. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care. Not like I said, I'm not looking at this person as a sage, as a wise person. Because if I was, I'll be looking at the wrong place. It's like going to prison to try to find somebody to teach you, some spirituality or meditation or, you know, or how to be a doctor or whatnot. It's like you don't go to prison to learn that. That's not what you're going to learn there. So, but basically, back to his boxing. Based on what I've seen, his matches that I've seen, and highlight reels, based on my experiences and what I do, because I've been training for like 25 years, you know, and I've been training a lot as far as combatives are concerned. Based on my assessment, you know, he's a master. He's a true master in the boxing ring. His tactics and everything are completely sound. You know, I've seen videos where people coming at him with straight aggression, straight anger, straight violence, like trying to kill him. But then he remains calm. He's in control. He evades. He defends himself. He hits back, and then when he hits back, it's like a clean shot, like boom, like right on him, like point blank. But then everybody else, they're like flailing around. They keep punching at his gloves and making it seem like they're doing damage when they're not. It's not even a clean hit. But for him, he's very precise. Like, he'll pick his punches very wisely, and he'll like be like over 50% connection. He might punch like 200 times and hit the guy over 100 times. And then the other guy's punching like 900 times and might hit him 200 times. So boxing's all about, you know, they log it by points. How many jabs, how many power punches. You know, like they do it by percentage. And he beats them on everything. You know, he evades, he gets clean hits. He's like very, very tactical. He takes his time, he's patient. He's not a fighter. He's not a brawler. He's very, very tactical. And he's mastered boxing. And I don't understand why people don't recognize that, don't give him credit for that. He's 49-0. He never even lost one time. And there's a lot of people out there that don't give him credit. Everybody says, "Oh, he runs around the ring." Well, he's winning. They can't catch him. He's too fast for them. His feet is too, you know, on his feet is too fast. His hands are too fast. People can't catch him. They keep chasing after him. They can't get him. He destroys them. You know, none of his opponents could even touch him. You know, and I respect his skill level in the boxing ring. Like, he's a master in the boxing. You know, that's my opinion. As far as Bruce Lee is concerned, he was representing the master in the martial arts, in my opinion. As far as like worldwide fame is concerned, I know there's a lot of talented people out there that are underground that people don't know about. That, hey, you know, All right, so, you know, to me, in my opinion, Bruce Lee's the master of the martial arts as far as fame is concerned and talent. I know there's people out there that are super talented, but they don't have the marketing. They've never been to Hollywood. They're not. They might not even be on YouTube. Like, but they're super talented, super humble, and beyond Bruce Lee. But people just don't know them. But as far as like talent and fame is concerned combined, I say Bruce Lee was representing like the martial arts. Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is representing the master in basketball. Heavyweights in the boxing, I'd say Muhammad Ali during his time was representing the master in the heavyweights. Mayweather's representing the master in his weight class, and it's different because different boxing styles. So like if you're a small person, you're gonna be better sparring and fighting, boxing like Mayweather. But if you're a heavyweight, then you want to learn from Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? But during our lifetime, we're only gonna encounter very few masters, and I see that Mayweather's one of them. I highly respect his level of skill in the boxing ring. Being undefeated, his tactics, and I love the way that he boxes. Even though everybody speaks badly about it, saying that he runs away, but it's like he's the defensive boxer. And to me, that's how martial artists are. They're defensive. They're not brawlers. The people that are brawlers, they're not really boxers. They're just fighters. They have no control. Their tactics they're not clean. They're dirty people. Like Cus D'Amato was the one who was responsible for grounding Mike Tyson to become how great he was. But once Cus D'Amato died, Mike Tyson just became another brawler, another fighter. Nobody special. Started biting people's ears off and fighting out of anger and just completely just out of control. And there's a lot of boxers out there like that. They're not talented. They're just out of control. But Mayweather, his tactics are very sound. Like, even when somebody's coming at him with a high level of aggression, he's still calm. He's collected. He's not like, he's not in fear. He's just calm, collected, in control. Lets them do what they want to do while he evades them, blocks them, dodges them, and then he comes back with precision. Comes back with precision and technique, and then he wins. This is based on my feedback of what I've seen. And I'm not a big person in boxing. There's people out there that watch every single boxing match out there. They watch every single one of Mayweather's fights, every single one of De La Hoya's fights, every single one of Pacquiao's fights, every single one of Tyson's fight. I'm not like that. I'm not a boxing enthusiast. I don't even care about that sport at all. If anything, I only get from what I need from it as far as like some of the tactics are concerned. But that's it. But anyway, I don't even need to study boxing because I studied Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee already broke it down, simplified it, and be like, you know what, this is the benefits of boxing, and I'm gonna incorporate into this and what I do, and this is gonna be better, my personal expression of the martial arts. And I studied that, and I know that I don't need to look at these boxers. The way that Mayweather is boxing is exactly what Bruce Lee was teaching in his books. Exactly what Mayweather's doing is what Bruce Lee was teaching too. And Bruce Lee wasn't even alive when Mayweather was, boxing. Mayweather studied Muhammad Ali, and he figured it out, like, hey, that way is the true way. And then he incorporated in what he did. And then Mayweather took off of Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee or whoever, and his father figured out the way. He figured out the science. Mayweather figured out the science. Bruce Lee figured out the science. Muhammad Ali figured out the science. All you got to do is just basically follow the science. It can't go wrong. The only thing that can go wrong is when your mind gets in the way. when you get angry, when you lose control, when you're not in meditation, when you're not fit, when you take things for granted, when you get arrogant, when you get cocky, when you underestimate your opponent, that's what will get in the way of you winning. But the science is point blank. This is what it is. You follow the science. You follow the science, you will win. Okay? That's point blank. So there's a lot of people out there talking all this trash about Mayweather, and I don't care if you like him, I don't care if you don't like him, whatever. He's not me, but I'm going to share my opinion about him, and I support, I highly respect his level of skill. And I'm going to express that. I've made a bunch of other videos criticizing other people, how they're not that good and how they're not that talented and they're not that great. And then everybody's coming down on me and saying, hey, who are you to talk about them that way? And they'll destroy you and you're nothing. But now this is a video where I'm not talking bad about Mayweather. I'm giving him his props for his talents and his skill. And if people want to talk trash about me and dislike this video because I'm acknowledging his level of skill, then so be it. Dislike this video because I'm sharing my positive feedback on another person's accomplishments. He's gained my respect from his level of skill in the boxing ring. But as far as his personal life is concerned, I don't care. I'm not looking at him for that. I'm assessing his boxing ability in the ring. That's it. And in my opinion, he's a master. He's a master. He's like somebody that plays chess that never lost. Not even one time. Never lost. That's a master. And that's it. I'm not going to go back and forth with these people talking about him anymore. Just made this video to just make it clear on my thoughts on him. Other people could hate him. Other people could criticize him. Whatever. People hate me. People criticize me. So in a way, I kind of know how it's like. It's like, you know what? Like, the same people that are hating Mayweather, the same people criticizing him, are pretty much the same people that are doing the same thing to me. I don't want to pay that any attention. And this just doesn't make sense. It's like people, they want to see the best, but then when the person is right there, right before your eyes, he's living, he's breathing, you want to talk trash about him. You want to hang him. You want to say how he's garbage. That's the same thing that did to Jesus. While he's living, they crucify him. After he dies, then they respect him. Then they praise him. Then they idolize him. Then they bow down to him. I think this is a really silly world that we live in when people do that. It's like, for me, I recognize a master when he's living. And I'll recognize him even when he's passed away. The people that I promote, spirituality, meditation, Osho. Hands down. Martial arts, Bruce Lee. Rap music, Tupac. Boxing, Mayweather, Muhammad Ali. Basketball, Michael Jordan. Chinese philosophy, Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. These are the people that, through my evaluation, are worth following. You follow them, you'll reach success. There's going to be a lot of other people out there that's going to misguide you, mislead you, confuse you. I don't pay any attention to those people. They're wasting my time. If you step into the library, there might be 500,000 books. It's impossible to read all those books. It's best to choose a few books, or one good book, and focus your attention on that. And that's how I am. You know, when I studied Bruce, I studied him very thoroughly for a few years before I went on to the next person. Then I went to the next person, and then on to the next, and then on to the next, until I came upon Osho, and I've been studying Osho for 8 years, and I'm still studying him. That's how I am. I choose one master at a time. Whereas other people, they log online, they're watching thousands of videos, you know, from thousands of different things, thousands of different sources. To me, they're just going to confuse themselves. They're going to get lost. They're going to be strayed away from the path. You know. But that's it. That's what I got to say about Mayweather. You know, he has very sound tactics. You know, imagine somebody that's like him, but with the kicks. And I don't know who that would be. You know, maybe somebody living in Korea, because, you know, the Koreans, they specialize in kicks. But imagine somebody like Mayweather with the kicks. And then combine Mayweather type of boxing and movement with no gloves, no rules, and with the master of the kicks, you got somebody, you know, seriously lethal as far as unarmed combatives are concerned. And what I just explained, who is it? Maybe it was Bruce Lee. Mayweather type of movement, ability with the hands, no gloves, no equipment, no rules, and then the kicks to be as efficient as the hands. Completely fast, completely precise, to perfection. Now that is what, like a real, serious, like martial artist, highly developed, no competition, in meditation. That's what I aim to do, to represent the highest level that I can. The only way you're going to represent the highest level that you can is you follow the real masters in this world, not the false ones. And to me, Mayweather's one of them.